What's up, guys? In this video, I'm gonna be talking about reloading versus factory ammo. Is it really worth it? But before we get started, I wanna just let YouTube know, should this go to a manual review, we're not teaching people how to reload, and we're not showing people where to buy the stuff or any of that sort. So should this go to a manual review? I want to cover that right now. So what are the pros and cons of reloading? I say this all the time. I don't really reload anymore because the factory ammo is that good, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should be reloading. What are the cost savings benefit and what is the upside of performance? In terms of velocity consistencies, extreme spread, standard deviation, that should, in theory, go way down with a custom load. But is it worth it? Can you save the money? Can you save the time? How much is your time worth? Well, those are questions that I'll cover in this video. What I did is I came up with a custom load. Now, bear in mind, I just recently did this 6.5 PRC video. See how it groups, see how I handle with factory ammo, stretched it out, 1,000 yards. It shoots phenomenal. It's balanced really well. And by the way, we can build you one of those custom rifles. It's a 4 to 6 month lead time. It starts with a barrel purchase, a Muley Wombat action purchase, and a deposit.
Shut up and take my money.
Hit us up, DM us if you want to get started there. But back to my point. Is it really worth it? That's something you got to ask yourself. So I came up with a custom load. We did a Saturday test. We tested out different powder charges and found a consistency that we felt like was flat. We went with the standard seating depth. Those are all things that you can do. You can test charges with custom ammo. You can test different bullets with custom ammo. You can test different powders with custom ammo. You can do all these different things. And once you shoot it once and you make it past the initial investment of all the reloading equipment, all the dies, all the powder, all the brass, all the primers, then is it worth it? But maybe it is due to just the volatility of ammo with current elections, with Democrats potentially getting the office, everyone freaks out, hoards all the ammo. Maybe it makes sense to start reloading. My home is not a fire hazard, deal with the things I need in life. Before we get started, we are gonna go to the range and we're gonna do a series of tests. Now the tests that we're gonna be doing, we're gonna do a 100-yard shot group with the custom ammo, and then we're gonna do a 100-yard shot group with the factory ammo. We're gonna chrono every single round, and that way, in the event that we get some flyers, we'll be able to determine if it's a change in speed or if it was just simply me who jerked the trigger, flinched, whatever. We're gonna stretch it out to 500 yards. We're gonna make sure we're monitoring velocities, and then we're gonna measure groups, and then we're gonna stretch it out to 1,000 yards. We're gonna measure the group with custom ammo and factory ammo. What I'm really gonna be paying attention for is extreme spreads, standard deviations, and what kind of groups I can shoot. Now, again, back to the point, I haven't broken this barrel yet. So I haven't really played with my seating depths or anything of that nature. I'm not trying to get this thing running super speeds out of the barrel. I should be about 3,000 to 3010 feet per second. We tested with a brake. I'm gonna throw the suppressor on. That could or could not speed it up. It might stay the same. This is why you test things, so that you can try it out. So we're gonna take it to the range right now. We're gonna shoot it at 100 yards. We're gonna have a long shot camera, help us measure some groups, and we're gonna test it. 3 different groups, 100, 500, 1,000. Measure the groups, we're gonna compare and contrast, and then we're gonna come home and look at pricing. Is it worth it? How much cheaper is it to reload your own, or does it make sense to go buy it at the store? First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go put 2 brand new targets on the 100-yard mark, and we're gonna start test number 1. Test number 1 is gonna be how good it groups. We wanna show factory accuracy versus a custom load accuracy. And part of that accuracy component is gonna be the velocity, which has the least amount of extreme spread, and how much that is and how that makes a bigger difference the further you get out. So we're gonna go put the targets up here, and then we're gonna shoot. For those of you the first time watching the channel, we want to get this long shot camera out of my shooting lane so that we don't shoot this camera. Go ahead and put up a target. Staples for good measure. There's like a little delay on this camera, so like when you make an adjustment, Wait a second. So we squared that up a little bit better. Let's go shoot. All right, guys, if you watch my 6.5 PRC video, my custom build here, and as we were breaking this barrel in, I said you want to make sure your suppressor screwed on tight, especially if I'm going to be comparing factory versus custom load. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And again, I am checking consistency and velocities, and then also accuracy. We're going to see if I can shoot some clovers here. So here we go. We're going to go factory first, middle of the target. 143 grain ELDX, cold bore, 0. Okay, factory ammo number 1. Number 2. 3042. These are some hot rounds. Box says 2960 out of a 24-inch test barrel. 2960 out of a 24-inch test barrel. So we got 3044 and 3024. Here's shot number 3. 3024.7. Let's test the deviate, or let's see what our numbers say. Shot list, session summary, extreme spread 18.1, standard deviation at 8.4. But this is why you test factory ammo. So that's actually not a bad for factory ammo. That extreme spread is very minimal and only a standard deviation at 8.4, which means they're pretty close to the same, and the further you stretch that out down range, the more accurate you're gonna be. Now, I feel like I didn't shoot a great group there. I had a cold bore. This is my first shot of the day. I don't know. I don't even know if I had one of those touching, but I'm going to shoot a custom load in the top left corner and see how we do there. Not a great group. Didn't shoot very good. Is that me or is that the ammo? I would say, I don't know. Let's shoot a custom load in the top left corner and see how we do, and then we'll measure that group versus this group. Shot number 1, 3026. $299.8. Shot number 3. $29.81. Huh. It was an incredible group though, but I had more standard deviation. Let's go ahead and pull it up here. Extreme spread of 45.4, a standard deviation at 18.7. I was hoping that my standard deviation would be less. Now, I loaded up 58.7 grains of H1000, and I'm a little surprised right now. Let's measure the groups because those groups were night and day difference between factory and the custom ammo. Maybe that was just me. This is my first shot of the day. I was just getting warmed up. It's really interesting. I may or may not shoot another one, but 0.91 MOA. That might have been just some crappy shooting on my part, because the standard deviation and extreme spread was really good, especially for factory ammo. Less impressed with these loads, but the accuracy is crazy good. Let's measure that. So that custom loaded group, I was able to shoot 0.55 MOA. I have some suspicions about this factory group, so I'm gonna actually go ahead, move down the left quadrant on that diamond. I'm gonna shoot 3 more of the factory loads. Make sure this barrel's cooled off, it's nice and cool. Should make for a more consistent group. .3044. So let's look at a shot summary again. You know, maybe this barrel is speeding up. I doubt it, but we're 80 feet per second over what the ammo says. Let's get a session summary here. Okay, extreme spread 21.5, excellent for factory ammo. Standard deviation 8.8, very good. So shot 1 was 3053, shot 2 was 3032, shot 3 was 3044. Maybe this barrel's different. Maybe it's speeding up sooner. We're gonna measure this group. This is the second factory group. I feel like I was a little more settled in, a little more dialed. 0.67 group. Okay, so I brought it from 0.91 to 0.67. Extreme spread was awesome. Standard deviation, in my opinion, for factory ammo was great. Let's shoot one last 3-shot group here. We're gonna go top right quadrant, and we're gonna see how the custom ammo does. .30-14 on that one. Might have shanked that one though. We'll find out here. That one was .29-77. Those two are bullet holes right there. So first shot, I think it was me. I don't think it was anything to do with the velocity there. I think I just pulled the trigger because I just put 2 of the custom ammo loads literally in the same hole. Extreme spread of 36.7 and a standard deviation of 16.5. So this is insane. I totally wasn't expecting this. This factory ammo is loaded up more consistent than my custom load. And in the other video that I did, I had greater extreme spreads and more standard deviation. So I'm actually a little bit surprised. I wasn't expecting this for this video. Let's go ahead and measure this custom group. Like I said, I shanked that first one, but we'll measure them. With this long shot camera, like I'm doing my best to try to like hit this in the same hole, but there's obviously an element of error because you're like trying to touch your group. It's .39, call it. And again, that's my custom group. I shot it even better. Obviously I haven't been able to shoot the factory ammo. I shot the factory ammo way better in the original 6.5 PRC video. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's me.
Nobody tells me it's them, not me. If it's anybody, it's me.
All right.
I am absolutely stacking these custom loads, but I'm getting some greater extreme spreads and standard deviation. So let's go ahead and stretch this out to 500 yards and do test number 2. We're gonna go take that long shot camera and see if the Bluetooth will connect to the iPad at 500 yards. But anyhow, we're gonna shoot a factory group, check velocity, make sure if we have any jumpers or if it's just me, and then we're gonna see how we can shoot a factory group and then a custom group. This could be tough to measure. Changed my mind on this test. We're actually gonna shoot 600. Much more steel to work with here. Essentially, 12-inch plate here at 600 yards. Let's go test some factory ammo on it first. But first, let's line up the long shot camera and see if we can work this. I don't know if it works this far. We're gonna try though. So it turns out this long shot camera will not stay connected 600 yards. So I'm gonna drop my daughter's iPad off in the snow and hope it doesn't get wet. Otherwise my wife's gonna kill me. But that way we can come up and measure. We're gonna have to do this again for the factory load. So I hope you appreciate this video. Like, subscribe, thanks. That should be okay for a minute. Change of plans, we're gonna do a 600-yard test instead of 5 because we had more steel to deal with this target. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and plug in 600 yards here on the Hornady app. 600 yards, it says 2.9 MRADs. Now, change my velocity slightly, 30-30. Again, we're gonna be testing factory ammo first, shoot 3 shots, and measure the group. 600 yards, 2.75. Here we go, getting a little bit of mirage there. A little bit of wind downrange. Wow, that was a pretty dang good shot. That went 30-74. This is the factory ammo. Are we starting to see some inconsistencies in the factory ammo? I don't know, let's find out. Well, I just tore my paper in half. That shot number 2 is 30-19. Ooh. So it seems like these first, call it 9, were a lot more consistent than these last 2. That's still a pretty good shot. Again, I knocked off half of the target, so we're dealing with less paper, but let's go ahead and shoot this 3rd round. It's a pretty good group for factory. We're gonna have to just put a new target up, honestly. Well, paper's kind of shredded. We're gonna have to put a new target on there, but let's go up and measure it. By the way, that was 30-30, so that was right on to my measurement, my average. Let's go ahead and look at the session summary here. Minimum 30-19, maximum 30-74, extreme spread 55, and a standard deviation of 24. So this is starting to look a little bit more like factory ammo. Let's go measure the group at 600 yards and put up a new target for the custom loaded group. Those first 2 shots felt good, were money. They're 2.64-inch group with factory ammo at 600 yards. That last shot, let's not talk about that. I shanked it. Crappy shot. I don't feel like it's fair to measure that one, but if you want to, it's 5 inches. 2.64 group. Let's go back and shoot the custom loaded ammo at 600 yards and see how we do. Yes, I know a can of spray paint would have been much easier, but we forgot about that. We're not that smart. Average velocity at 3,002 on the custom loaded stuff. So 3,002 feet per second. Here we go. Barrel's nice and cool. Make sure that I get a dial too. 2.82. One click there. So the question becomes, can I actually shoot a better group at 600 yards with custom loaded ammo? I don't know. Does it matter that much? We'll see. Can I make it happen? I hope. Okay, so these look pretty good. Extreme spread 64.4, standard deviation at 29.6. So shot number 1, 30.48, shot number 2, 29.83, and shot number 3, 29.87. 3006, so 3,006 feet per second, standard deviation of 29.6. Extreme spread is 64.4. Not great for custom loaded ammo. All right, let's go check out the group. These two shots, better than my last two. This one, I don't know. 600 yards, a little bit of a wind. Let's measure it. I don't know. I feel like when I'm shooting a 3-shot group at that distance, me again, I'm yanking one. Similar group at 600 yards. Now it's probably gonna depend on the shooter. Obviously you have tons of variables, environment. You know, 1-shot group, there can be a little bit of wind, the other one isn't. I shot those groups pretty similar. This is saying 2.73. And I'm not counting in 2.73 inches, and I'm leaving out my shanked shot, which I'm pulling 1 of 3. So, I don't know, pretty even at this distance. Let's check it out at 1,000 and see the difference. In an effort to save time, I'm gonna spray a little orange dot in the middle of this right target, and this is gonna be my custom plate. The one with the grid is going to be my factory plate. So here we go. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Custom, whatever. Go ahead and start a new session here for the last group of the day, which is 1,025 yards. We are going to start with the factory ammo first. Adjust my environment here slightly. Give me 6.37 MRADs. Okay, here we go. Factory round number 1. That was 30.43. Shot number 2. Wasn't sure where that one hit. That was 30.41. Looked close there. I'm having a hard time seeing here because it's 37 degrees. I'm getting a little bit of a mirage here coming off my suppressor. So my sight picture is kind of blurry. So I'm doing the best I can. So 3 hits. That last one is 30.68. Extreme spread 26.7. Standard deviation at 12.1. Again, folks, this is factory ammo. This is why I've constantly said and preaching the last few years, the factory ammo is so good that you don't need to reload. Now, I couldn't quite shoot a group with it at 100 yards like I could this custom, but look at your extreme spread and your standard deviation, or maybe I just suck at reloading. 1,025 yards with the custom loaded stuff. I changed my velocity back down to 3,006. I came up a little bit in elevation. We're gonna send it. All right. Gosh, that was a fast one. 30.41. feel like this isn't a good test until your barrel is absolutely broken, because it makes me question. And maybe this load was done with the brake and not the suppressors, so that could be a reason why we're getting, I wouldn't think that's why. We'll see. Here's shot number 2. A little low there, still a pretty good shot. 3001, that's closer to where I should be. Shot number 3 of the custom loaded stuff. Maybe we just had one fast one there. I don't know. I was just a hair below the bullseye and off to the right. That was actually a really good shot at 1025. Let's go ahead and send up shot number 3. That one looked a little low. 2993, which is closer to spec of how we reloaded these. Yeah, let's go check out the group. So session summary on that last group at 1025 with the custom hand-loaded ammo. Extreme spread, 48.5. Standard deviation, 21.1. Factory target, 1, 2, 3. Pretty good. I was obviously aiming here. Custom loaded one. Custom loaded target. It went uno, dos, tres. And I feel like this one was kind of my bad one. These kind of all felt the same. And honestly, at 1,000 yards for factory ammo, I'm really pleased with that. This one, I feel like I could tighten that one up. I've been shooting so much, I have a little bit of shooting fatigue. Could that be why? Sheesh, I don't know. Let's measure the groups. It's hard to know. Like, here we have the factory plate. I got 2 here that are 3 inches apart, one that's 5. That's pretty good shooting. Like, was this me or was this the velocity on one of them? I don't know. I didn't even pay attention when I was down there. I can look at it at the computer, but like, also a pretty good group, all in the kill zone. I'd like to measure it for you right now, but the long shot camera died, so we're gonna have to dive into the data at home. We need to chat about some things. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to point out, I did not shoot that factory ammo very good initially. You know, it's like showing up to the gym and start heaving up half-court shots. Like, wow. I shot it way better when I did the 6.5 PRC video. I have no lost faith in how I can group and that I could group clovers with factory ammo at 100 yards. But what the heck happened with that custom load? So when I was testing different powder charges, I found that 58.7 grains of H1000 was my magic number. And I had a standard deviation of 5. But when I went to the range, that first shot on every single group was insane. It was like 40 to 60 extreme spreads on every single one of those groups. 2 at 100, 1 at 600, 1 at 1,000. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
What is going on here?
And when I did that load, I did it with a muzzle brake. And when I went to the range, I used the suppressor. So I got thinking, could that be the reason why? I'm like, there's no way. Nothing is changing with the powder. Then at the same time, I was thinking, wow, I'm able to group this factory ammo so much better. And then why was the factory ammo so much hotter than advertised on the box, 2960? So head spinning. So I call up Horny. I'm like, dude.
I'm the dude.
WTF. What the fuck? And I got an answer. And it makes a ton of sense. And this is good for all who are testing. This wasn't a great test. This really didn't prove anything, in my opinion, of factory versus custom ammo. Why? Can you guess? Yes. The propellant is different. We have a completely different propellant or powder in this factory ammo than we do in this custom load, which would explain why my first round when I would switch to my custom was so hot. I tested this with the custom load and I was getting a standard deviation of 5, yet when I went to shoot it and do this test, I was getting like 25, 35, 45, 55. I'm like, what the heck? And it makes sense because I shot the factory first, switched to a different propellant in the custom load, which was the H1000, and my first round was a blistering 40, 50, 60 feet percent factor. I think I ended at a standard deviation of 55 on the custom ammo. So Horny's like, dude, there's still propellant residue left over from your factory. And then when you're throwing in your hand loads or custom loads that we've been calling in this video, you're still getting some of that leftover residue powder from that, which is causing that increase in speed. You'll notice shot 2 and shot 3 at every single group was right close. It was like 5, 6, 7, 8 in standard deviation. It was really close. I think I had one that was maybe 17 feet per second faster, but all of them were 5 to 8, which would be right in line with what I tested when we were doing up the custom load. So I learned a lot there. I had no idea. That's if I'm going to do another video, and I'm going to test an entire box of factory ammo and not shoot the custom load with it, just the factory ammo all day long during the video, and then really test it, and then take the custom hand-loaded stuff and then test that separately. Switching back and forth, bad test, didn't make any sense, and now that I'm looking back on it, makes sense why. Now, let's move into the cost side of things. So obviously I talked about how there's volatility. Right now you can find 6.5 PRC ammo on the shelves. So at Smith & Edwards, you're going to be paying $49.99 for a box of 20. That pencils out to $2.99 per round. You want to start reloading, you don't own any dies, any reloading equipment, there's initial cost there. I put in $600 to start out. You know, you can go up to $1,000, you can go to $1,500, but $600 seems like a pretty good number to get you started. Cost per primer, 10 cents. Cost per brass, $1.19. Powder, 50 cents per round. And then a bullet, 52 cents per round. So your initial starting cost, if you throw in the cost for the equipment, the reloading equipment, $30.11. After, here's where the magic happens. And here's where it gets cheaper. And here's where it may or may not make sense for you. Cost per round, you already own the ones fired brass. Let's say that you can get 8 rounds if you don't anneal out of a single piece of brass. So cost per primer, 10 cents. Cost per powder, still 50. Cost per bullet, still 52. No cost per brass. Ding, 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 ding. Cost per round then becomes $1.12. So you're saving a significant amount, almost 2/3 savings if you're going to reload. And you're going to get the performance. Now, if we just test shot 2 and shot 3, remember, shot 1 was always fast because we had that leftover residue from the factory propellant, which was different than my custom loaded propellant. Those were insane standard deviation. I mean, 4, 5, 6 for the most part. That's really good, and that was right in line with how I tested it. Now, you saw how the factory grouped. It grouped really well. Now, do I believe that factory can group even better because I've shot it way better? Absolutely. Once this settles down and the barrel breaks in, I have a total of 62 rounds through this 6.5 PRC. And as we get up to that 150, 200 mark, I should settle in with the speeds, and then I can really turn up the horsepower on this custom load. But back to my whole point of this video. Does it make sense? That's up to you. Now, are you a PRS competition shooter and you're reloading every week and you're shooting 50 rounds a week, 150 rounds on the weekend? I don't know. Are you? Or are you just a hunter who draws a tag every 3 years or, has a tag or two every year and you only go shoot your rifle once a year, which shame on you if that's you. You should shoot your rifle so you can be more proficient. But if that is you, then it may still not make sense for you. I didn't factor in here the cost of your time to reload. It'd take you 26 minutes to load 20 rounds. What's your time worth? How much time does it take you to drive to your local sporting goods store to pick up the rounds? You got to figure that time in too. Or do you just, order it off the internet? Those are all things you have to ask. But I didn't really want to push the limits in this custom load. So it's like, oh, wow, Erik, your factory ammo is doing 30-30, where your hand-loaded stuff is, right around 3,006 feet per second. Like, you're not showing me anything. Well, I don't want to get the barrel too hot initially. Like I said, the big thing here is it's not broken in. I just more or less on this video wanted to show consistency in loads, which I didn't do that with the first shot. I know, I learned, and hopefully you can learn from it too. But shot 2 and shot 3 were cash money. They're groups for money. But I also wanted to talk this shot at the far right target at 1,000 yards. That shot that I said I may have shanked? I'm like, I had to have shanked it, right? Why was it so much lower? When I went back and looked at the chronograph, that was my slowest loads, which would explain the drop in elevation. So that's why it's super important if you're going to be shooting at distances, if you're a PRS shooter, if you hunt in country, that you have to shoot further. I know that sometimes long-range hunting gets hated on. For us on this channel, we're never trying to back up and scoot as far away from our quarry as we can. We're just trying to be the most efficient that we can. And besides, like I say all the time, the closer we get, the better the footage. And it's not like this I shot this at 1,200 yards type thing. No, but the closer you get those velocities, the more accurate you're going to be, especially downrange. I hope that this video was a testament to that. So, factory versus custom ammo. What is better? What should you do? What makes sense? Maybe you enjoy it. Maybe you don't have the time. Maybe you're watching this video and thinking, man, I should just hand load. But let me just rattle off these specs here in closing. So I was actually really surprised. Now, again, I'm going to say this again. I can shoot that factory ammo a little bit better. But I had an extreme spread of 55 feet per second on the factory ammo. And that comes from just one round, actually. So, but a standard deviation of 17. Now, also, when I was talking to Hornady on the phone, they said that 8 to 12 is pretty standard. But I wasn't doing the custom ammo or the factory ammo a very good service by shooting them back and forth. That could have skewed both groups. It could have skewed both speeds. Maybe I do this test again and figure out that both are more consistent. But I do believe in this, that custom load is going to get better, especially as I start to hone in and improve on performance and add some horsepower. Stay tuned, guys. Appreciate you guys. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment. Let me know if this taught you anything as it did me, and we'll catch you on the next video.